What's up YouTube, Winterguard here. Day 2, sorceress leveling. We're going through Nightmare this time. Gonna show you some of the rune words I switched to and possibly some little tips you might need to change during your leveling into Nightmare this time. So let's get into it. We're gonna go over some of the rune words first. There's not as many as before. We're just gonna do a quick recap of this, and I'm trying to keep this video way shorter. We went extremely long in the last video, so let's try and keep this thing down a little bit. So we're going to touch base on the rune words that we're going to use for Nightmare. First one, and this is the main one. You'll use this into Hell potentially. Right now I only have it in my sword. You can get this for sword and shield, slightly different stats for both. So you'll see this +2 skills. It rolled a 33 out of a potential 35 FCR, so this is a great roll for this. You're going to need a 4-socket sword to make this. So long sword, broadsword, crystal sword. Those are your best options. They will not drop in normal, as we discussed before. Easily found in Nightmare though. So once you get your hands on one of these, runes are Tal, Thol, Ort, Am, also found easily. If not, go to Countess. She drops up to IO in Nightmare and first act, so you can farm her to get the appropriate runes. But these are, you should have these already, probably in from normal, so pretty easy to get. Again, and I'm going to put it up on the screen here. So you can put this in your shield. The difference between, I'm running Ancient's Pledge, and I'm doing that for the resist. When you start in Nightmare, your resist drop by 100. What I mean by that, you start at 0 and work your way up with gear additions in normal. In Nightmare, it works the same, except you start at a -100. So a lot more resists to make up the difference. Even at where I'm at now, my resists are not maxed. Again, and then this is in Nightmare. So, and the difference between the shield, Ancient's Pledge being 48 except for the cold resist, the resists on Spirit are at least 10 less. I believe it's exactly 10. So if you look at that, then these are even going to be less, another 10 points. It does make a difference, especially boss fights and the further you get into Nightmare. So just be aware. Resists start to play a factor, so you want to make sure that you start stacking it as much as possible. In Hell level, that's where it really becomes a thing, and I'll probably be rocking this Ancient's Pledge through that. Some people run both. You do get another additional +2 skills and more faster cast rate, so it's kind of a trade-off, play style thing. Some people like to play a little more passively and not die as much. Your resists make a big difference in Hell, so that's just something to be aware of. So it's a trade-off for 2 skills or more resist. I went the resist route. I probably couldn't do it fairly easily with the Spirit rune word in my shield. The base is a little tougher to get. Not extremely difficult. Just if you get one, go ahead and make it. But again, I put up the stats for that. The shield is worth it. Like I said, less resists, but it is Nightmare, so not too terribly difficult. I actually have the Ancient's Pledge on for Hell level runnings. Hell is resists become a big deal, so just something to be aware of. Also, and I mentioned this in the last video, I'm now using Lower, which is another +1 skill helmet. 2-socket helmet, easily found, so you can put your hands on one of those pretty quick. You could get it in normal. Again, the Sol rune was the biggest issue in normal, but drops fairly easily off of Countess. Or you can craft up or cube up 3 Am runes plus an amethyst or chipped amethyst. And I'll put that up as well if you guys don't know. Crafting runes is up to Thol. You could just put 3 in a cube and craft up. Thol and on, you have to add a gem of some sort. So this is a list here. So just so you'll be aware, you do have to add more than just the 3 runes to craft beyond from Thul onward. So for making the Sol rune, you can get 3 alms, which are plentiful, and a chipped amethyst in Cuba Sol, so that you can put your hands on that pretty easy if one doesn't drop immediately for you. So again, more resist and plus skills. It's a nice helmet to have through Nightmare, and I'm still using it at Hell level. Last one I want to touch on is actually the Merc. You have your Insight, another Sol rune, 4-socket base, polearm, or spear. I believe spear works as well. Just be aware you can't use the Amazon specific spears, so just if you throw it in that, it's not going to work. Or well, it might. I don't think it works. Even if it did, it would not. You wouldn't be able to equip it on your mercenaries. So be aware of that. The biggest thing on this is the meditation aura. This rolled low. 12 is low. I think it could go up to 15. So, and that's a huge mana regen. So you'll notice an immediate difference when you have that aura running. So just keep that. Make that as quick as you can. The runes again are easy. Raltir, Tal, Sol. So the thing to be aware of in this, you're going to make this multiple times. This is actually the second one I made, and I'm ready to do another one. The damage drop off eventually becomes an issue with the mercenary actually being able to kill anything. So make sure you're on the lookout for bases. I prefer fast attack speed bases. So this one carried me through the end of Nightmare, but for Hell level, I'm going to make another until I get a decent drop, like a Bone Hew or something, Reaper's Toll. So that is going to be your main weapon on your mercenary for a while, if you use an Act 2 mercenary. And one thing to mention on that as well, and we'll jump over here and take a look at it. There are new set of auras that come with the Nightmare Act 2 mercenaries. So we were running, I think it was Prayer before, whichever one gives you health regen. I switched to the Freeze aura. I like to be able to slow monsters that come within his aura. And this is the issue with D2R. The load screens are absolutely atrocious. I don't know why it takes so long to load between, but this has been an issue since release, and I don't know that they're addressing it. This is after an update today. They were doing some server upgrades, but this is after that, and it's still loading screens are horrible.
Come back this way, have you?
So anyways, if you take a look here, this time we have Holy Freeze, Thorns, and Might. So you get a whole new set of auras in Act 2 Nightmare. So something to think about. I like the Holy Freeze. The slow works well when kiting, which you'll still have to do on occasion if you're not running cold. So just to let you guys know, that is something you need to look out for. Okay, next thing I'm going to talk about is leveling a little bit. Now, when you finish normal, you're going to be between 26 and 30 when you finish normal mode. Into Nightmare, sometimes you might want to level a little bit before proceeding on to the further acts. Act 1 is not too bad, but if you're undergeared or under-leveled, you might start feeling it getting into the further acts. I like to level in the pit, and I'll show you how to get there. You'll have to have gotten to at least Outer Cloister. Basically, I just like to teleport down. You kill mobs if you're wanting to, just to level potential item drops, and you just follow the road. You probably cleared the pits at one point. One road is going to take you out of town. The other one's going to take you to the pit. This one's probably going to take me out. Yeah, it takes me out of town. I think normally where you get to a crossroad, you'd like to go, see like here, you might want to run in. Yeah. you'll see that freeze effect. Let me see if I can get it to proc. Yeah, see how it procs on that. It also slows their attack speed as well, so it's pretty useful. It does not work on champ or boss packs, and it does not work on bosses themselves. And that's a pit. And now this is one of the high level monster or high monster level areas for Nightmare and Hell. So this has got the top monster level, equivalent to say Arcane Sanctuary in Act 4, Ancient Tunnels in Act 2. There's certain areas that have a higher monster level. You will run into some immunes, but the packs are easily killed, and you can level pretty quick here. I leveled actually up to 35 before I proceeded on, so something to think about. If you feel a little undergeared in Act 1, just try to get to at least Outer Cloisters and level here, and it's a great spot, and you can get decent gear here. Okay, the last thing I'm going to touch on, and this is more of a time management issue, or not really issue, but a tip. Something to do that will help you in the long run, save a little time, having to backtrack, recount your steps, and I call it portal jumping. I don't know if there's an actual name for it, and there's multiple places you could do this. I'm just going to show this in Act 1. Say you zone in for the first time. You don't have the Cold Plains waypoint yet, and you need to do the cave. Instead of going ahead and doing that, and then portaling back, and then running back out to the waypoint, go ahead and put your portal here. Then follow the road to get to the waypoint. Now go ahead and get your waypoint. Go back to town. And then take your portal. And then go ahead and clear the den. The reason for this, if you do this first, once you clear it, you either have to portal back to town, and then from there you have to run all the way back to the waypoint again. That may not seem like a big deal, but this is one of those things where it'll save you a little time in the end if you just go ahead and have the waypoint. Once you portal back to town from the den, just go to the waypoint and continue on. And there's multiple places you could do this. You could do this, again, like say for instance you're in Black Marsh and you're headed to your next waypoint, which is the Cloister. And you want to run the pit, same thing, drop a portal at the pit, continue on till you get to waypoint, and then go back to town, take the portal into the pit. Same thing, and there's multiple places you can do this. Act 3 is a great place. I hate Act 3. There's a lot of running involved. And there's multiple places you can do the same trick. Say for instance, in the Flare Jungle, you have to clear that last tomb, which is 3 levels, to get one of the pieces for the flail. That's kind of a pain in the butt. If you happen to find it before you get to Lower Kurast, drop your portal there, go to Lower Kurast, get that waypoint, and do the same thing. It saves you a lot of time. I've been doing this for a while, and there's multiple places. Same thing. Say, for instance, the next piece is in the sewer, which is in the Bazaar and Kurast. There's multiple entrances for it. Go to Travancore, get the waypoint, and then go back to one of these places to do the sewer. It'll just save you a little time in the end. And while we're talking about it, let's do one last thing here. Lower Kurast is a place where a super chest spawns every time. So this is farmed a lot in Hell level because it's a great place for runes. The chest has a higher chance to drop high runes. You might have to farm it a lot, but it's one of those places that people will actually hit on. And to find it, it's in Lower Kurast. And what you got to do, you got to look for the fire pit. And this has a chance to spawn twice. Most times you're just going to have it one time, but it does have a chance to spawn 2 different times. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Of course, it's going to be the last place I look. Here it is. You got to look for this pit. Now, what's going to happen, either this building or this building is going to have a super chest. Sometimes both. So this is the... There's going to be 2 here. This is not the super chest. That's a super chest. And then this one can be. See, that one's not. So there's only one this time. But you can have both buildings spawn a super chest. And this has a great, it's a great place to farm runes. And once you get used to running this place, it's only a couple seconds to find this fire pit. It does not show up on the overlay. It used to in D2 before. That little fire would show up on the overlay, but it's not there now, of course. And again, this area does have a chance to spawn this twice. So mainly in hell level, you can do it nightmare. It's not a bad place, and definitely hit it. Definitely hit it on your way through. You'll definitely want to at least hit these chests at least one time through. If you want to farm it a little bit, do that as well. Definitely do it in hell level. It's a great place, and you could potentially pop. I think the highest I've ever found is an Ohm rune in one of these chests, of course in hell level. But just if you're not aware, take a look at it. But that's what I'm going to do for now. I feel like I'm losing my voice. So if you like what I'm doing, give me a like, subscribe, click the notification bell. I upload fairly often. And we'll leave it here for now. You guys have a great day. Keep on farming.